Hi everyone, it's Tonya, and I want to share with you this technique that I have for making these little labels that are on this little mini album that I shared with you earlier. You can go look at the previous video to see how, what the inside of this album looks like. But this was the albums for my daughter's friends for Christmas. And here's a full sheet of the labels so you can kind of really see what they look like. I've also made a few other things, like I made a tag, and this tag is chipboard. On the labels I used, on these labels I used cardstock, so they're a little more pliable. Now I did not cover the back of these, two reasons. One, I'm going to glue them down, you're not going to see the back, so it's irrelevant. The other reason is because I'm giving these to little girls who probably don't have access to things like glossy accents or metal glue, so I wanted them to be able to glue them down with their standard glues that they have around the house. So I didn't do both sides. On this tag I did both sides. So you know, depending on what you want to do, just follow the same steps, and I'll show you the part where you just, you know, add adhesive. Anyway, if you have any questions later after you're doing it, then let me know. But these tags are very sturdy. To get started, what you need to do is find some chipboard or some cardstock, and remember you're going to cover this, so if you have some that is scrap, it will not matter. I'm using a Cheez-It box to make my tags with. I like the chipboard on the back, and I have the it has this print on the front, and all I did was I ran that through my Xyron. You want complete adhesive coverage. So if you are going to use something other than your Xyron, you want to make sure it's smooth. You can use Mod Podge, you can use medium gel, you can use the Claudine Matte Medium, Claudine Helmuth, you can use a glue stick. You just want to make sure, and you know, if you use a glue stick, I'm not sure if the glue stick glue will stick to metal as good, so you may want to experiment. But you just want to make sure whatever it is, it will stick to metal, and you want to make sure it's smooth. If you use a glue stick, you want to also make sure glue sticks tend to leave a little glob of glue residue behind. Again, you want to make sure that you don't have any of that visible, because it will show through your aluminum foil. So you want to make sure it's very smooth. The other thing you're going to need is, I've already ran my tag through the Xyron. If you want to do both sides of your tags, then go ahead and run both sides through your Xyron, or go ahead and apply matte medium to both sides. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of aluminum foil, and this is not standard aluminum foil. This is the super strength extra heavy aluminum foil from Reynolds. It's in a gold box. This is the stuff that you use for your grill. It's really super strong, and this stuff is so strong that I would even go so far as to say that you could put matte medium or run this piece through your Xyron and put another piece of this foil on top, and you could use this to make flowers. I mean, it is that pliable and it is that strong. It is not going to rip. I mean, I can roll it up and roll it back out really easily without it ripping. So it's a very strong aluminum foil. So now that I've done that, don't worry if your aluminum foil has wrinkles in it. That does not matter. You are going to get it, we can get it flat again. And you're also going to need a brayer. And again, this is just to make sure that the adhesive is fully covered on your tag. And don't worry about those wrinkles. They will come out when we do the next step. So I've gotten my foil, and I'm going to take the shiny side of the foil and I'm going to put it down. Then I'm going to take the sticky side of my chipboard, and when you pull this off, make sure you don't pull that top ply off. If you're using a coated chipboard, make sure you don't pull that top ply off. If you do, just use some standard glue and glue it back down. You just want to make sure it's smooth. And I'm going to take the glue side and place it down on my foil. Now you want to make sure your foil is just slightly larger than your surface that you want to cover. And the reason for that is so that you can make sure you have complete coverage. And then I'm just going to take my brayer and I'm going to just go over it a couple of times from a couple of different directions, and that's just to make sure that the adhesive is good and ground into that chipboard and it presses that chipboard straight into that aluminum foil. Now, you could, after you trim this down, you could just put this aside and save it for later if you don't know what you want to emboss on it. You don't necessarily have to emboss on it. If you decide that you don't want to emboss on it and you don't like the texture of the wrinkled foil, because it still has some of those wrinkles in there, then you can run it through your Xyron. Run it through your embossing system. I'm using a Cuttlebug. You could use a Sizzix. You could use anything really, as long as it's flat. You just want to make sure, if you want it to be smooth, you want to make sure that the foil is actually up against something that is a smooth, clear surface, like a plate that's never been cut before. So for this exercise, I'm going to, on this tag, I used the Cuttlebug jacket that's called Friend. For these tags that I'm using for my nephew, these were a Cuttlebug jacket called Congrats, and that's the one that I'm going to use today. So I'm just going to take it and line it up with the design that I want embossed. You could do it the full size. On the bigger tags, I use the full size, and that would be fine. I'm just making little tags for his little mini album for Christmas. So I'm not going to use the whole area. Now how you're going to place that in is Cuttlebug. The word Cuttlebug is up. Foil side is up. If you do both sides, it doesn't matter. Then you're going to take your B plate, A plate, and another B plate, and you're going to just run it through and emboss it. And so now this is what I have. And then to give it the tag look, if you don't have a tag die cut, and I don't, then just decide which side it is that you want your tag part to be. And all I do is I take a standard shipping tag, line the edge up, snip off the corner, line it to this side, snip off the corner. You can use your corner rounders and round the edges here if you want to. I'm not going to do that for this. And then just take your crocodile, find your center point, and just set an eyelet, or just punch a hole. So there you have it. Now to color these in, there's several techniques out there for coloring these in. Just remember, this is metal, so you cannot use a dye ink. You're going to have to use a solvent ink, like either a StazOn, I think the Adirondack archival inks, or alcohol inks to color these in. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed my little tutorial, and please leave me comments. Thanks.